should economists actually influence politics?
It depends on the framework, whether first of all it's a framework that allows for academics to be involved in the policy making and to be heard. The institutional framework, I mean. I assume that the institutional framework is there. Institutions are typically conservative in adopting new ideas, and so they need to see that you've got a track record and it succeeds, and then they start looking into it. And I think it will be these things will be adopted with a lag if they've got a successful track record. Mm-hmm. It's part of also the academic life that you go around explaining your ideas to the public as well as to the academics, and try to get some interest going. Mm-hmm. The funding of projects is also very important, and public funding is an issue because universities more and more turn to teaching as a way of financing their existence, and there should be space kept for research.
Yeah, of course.
I'm an optimist by nature, so I think even if you come up with an idea and it doesn't have an impact yet, somebody will pick it up and eventually it will have an
with
impact.
That lag.
Yes.
So regarding just some final question about journals in general and to the end. How do you feel about the journal environment currently in economics and sciences?
I'm concerned because I see a lot of journals becoming more concerned about form than about content. Mm-hmm. And some journals are turning very conservative in that if there's something challenging to existing form, they will not do it, they will not take it. There is also a huge volume now, and I feel really sorry for young academics because there's a huge volume of papers and journals to follow. And a lot of it is box ticking. It's really hard to extract things from the important things from this big jungle.
Yeah. Regarding the Portuguese Economic Journal, you have worked quite a bit with the journal in the past. How do you feel about its role in European economics and Portuguese economics, namely? Do you have any?
It's very important to be able to address this question in particular and say, okay, as an editorial policy, I'm going to cut the amount of time that I take to give you an answer, and also guarantee an answer that is fair within a certain amount of time, even if the editor himself has to read it. Sometimes referees don't deliver, and the editor is the one that you think is not delivering when it's actually the referees that are not delivering. Mm-hmm. So it takes a big time commitment on behalf of the editorial board to try and get things done. But certainly the PEJ is a very efficient vehicle for this. And also when I was editing the Econometrics journal, I used to promise a quick answer within a certain period of time to specifically attract young talent to send things there. And I think the profession is putting too much emphasis on the name of the journal rather than the quality of the paper or the impact of the paper in terms of, not just in terms of citation. Impact is measured in many different ways. Citations can sometimes lag, like we were saying. It's really, is this a paper that is sufficiently innovative or different from what exists? Mm-hmm. There are other criteria that are unfortunately really hard to quantify.
Yeah, citations are the issue with the impact factor, especially like the 2-year impact factor of citations, is because it's very weird. Because the more journals there are, the harder it is to have a positive impact factor. Because big impact factor. Because if there are more journals, people need to read more things, and if they need to read more things, they get more delayed on the current affairs things. So it's a vicious cycle. It's unfortunate. Just one final question. Do you have two final questions? Do you have any particular book or movie that has inspired you as an economist?
There are. Well, when I was a student in Egypt, there was a book written by Ken Wallace on econometrics. So it was very concise, very small, but very inspiring because it was to the point. It covered a lot of interesting topics that excited me, and I gradually switched from more business-like to more mathematical-like. Mm-hmm. But there were lots of other very good textbooks and also very good lecturers that inspired me along the way. Mm-hmm. At the American University in Cairo and at Oxford, David Henry, obviously. He has a way of convincing you and making the subject come alive. And it's like watching a movie, really, when you watch David presenting, with also demonstrating live on Oxmetrics and PCD.